You know, there's a good chance all you've been hearing or even been talking about this past week is the Asgard. Why is that? All right, this is not a hype piece. In fact, when I first saw the Asgard, I didn't get what all the fuss was about. It's big, it ain't cheap, and you can risk destroying your ship putting one of them pop-locking tanks in the back of it. But so many folks slap down their credit card or move some store credit around to get in the pilot seat. I had to figure out what was going on. So let's have a look-see into why it has been crushing it in the Star Citizen community. If you're lurking on the sidelines or somehow not familiar, the Asgard is on the big side of a mid-sized combat-ready tank-carrying ship from Anvil. It released during the Invictus event next to the Mirai Guardian MX, which is a fighter, so that's more popular with the dedicated pew-pew boys, the Grey Cat MTC, which is the two-man A-team wagon, and the Starlancer TAC, which seems to outclass the Asgard in versatility. Therefore, vis-a-vis and concurrently, that made me wonder what the hell is going on and what's with the Asgard thirst trap. It launched at $325 for new money and $350 war bond, aka store credit, so $15 to $25 cheaper than the TAC depending on how you paid, which is not enough of a gap for it to just be a financial choice. Definitely something a little deeper that's appealing about it. So what's it got? The Asgard carries 180 SCU of cargo, which is double the Lil Bro Valkyrie. Or you could park a Nova in the back like a big body Cadillac, or throw some Furies in there or some combination of a few vehicles. You can get them dogs barking with a grand total of 6 size 3 guns, plus a man turret with a pair of size 4s, and 16 size 3 missiles to make the ladies whistle. And if the occasion arises, you got some door tourists for when you cutting across the field with Charlie everywhere. So we got that heat now. If you're gonna compare it to other ships, you think about the Lil Bro Valkyrie, which has half the cargo and a bunch of drop seats, Hercules, which was the first and only ship to carry a tank before Invictus, and the Starlancers, which can carry an MTC or an Ursa, and depending on which one you got, either has half the cargo of the Asgard or 44 SCU more cargo. Asgard is built to carry that bouncy ass tank around, so you would think of it as a group-focused assault ship, but surprisingly, the design is conducive to good old solo play, so the pilot ends up with a smorgasbord of firepower, no need for a bunch of gunners. It can multi-role anything from bunker running and looting to hauling payloads of human waste. Move vehicles, defend or engage threats to an extent, and the 4 size 2 shields will help it live to fight another day, all solo or with 1 or 2 players. A lot of folks talk about how great crew play is, because it is, it just is. But most of the time, folks are out there living their space dream solo dolo. The Valkyrie doesn't have a lot of pilot firepower, so its best shot at surviving the day while solo is just a run if you by yourself. The Starlancer TAC has a couple heavy Chevy dual size 4s in the pilot's hands. It's got 2 size 4 shields and ain't shy about pulling up uninvited, but it's almost double the length of the Asgard, so it's big and slow moving like you'd expect, which makes reaching its potential effectiveness relies heavily on having asses in seats. So the Asgard, having less of a crew burden, definitely factored into the popularity summit. Still, pound for pound, the TAC feels like the better closed fist, which we'll get into a little later. Being a solid solo player ship definitely had its allure, but that's still not enough to explain why everybody and their mama's mama jumped on the Asgard train. CIG had multiple offerings at Invictus, but the Asgard just stole the show. And I believe it was more of a psychological dopamine hit than a good clean stats analysis. Once it released, everybody either saw or felt that unprecedented maneuverability. It ain't nobody's definition of a speedy, sleek-looking hottie body. It's 48.7 meters, which is a few meters shy of the Redeemer, but as folks have said, it maneuvers like a ship half its size. If you're watching a video and see a big body ship moving like Simone Biles, you gonna start taking a little notice. Combine that with the power fantasy of 6 size 3s putting holes in ships like an acupuncturist with the shakes, then you get to licking your lips a little bit. But if you've been around for a while, you already know that it's gonna be all quick and agile now, but then CIG gonna rebalance it back to flying more like the big boxy ship that it is. Don't believe me? Ask Polaris, MSR, Corsair owners, etc., etc. It's what they do. Serenity now, insanity later. Anywho, it's an Anvil ship, so there's the rugged military identity that the brand is known for. Back when I first started, folks would talk about the Hornet like,
little piece of advice.
You see a Hornet,
You do what we do. Run. Run your ass off.
Anvil's got a reputation for beasting, and I'm not saying this swayed folks into buying it, but it's a little subliminal piece that may have kept the door open in the back of folks' minds. It's a simple ship. For me, it's a little too simple. Just looks like a big empty ship with an even less comfortable living area than the Valk, but it speaks to simplicity. No hanger juggling, no heavy system micromanagement, unless it's stock, you know that cooler be taking up all the resources. Let's not pretend FOMO didn't factor in, at least a little bit. Shiny new ship out there, carries a tank, moves like capoeira, prominently displayed at the brand new ship show layout, starts popping up in videos. Folks are talking about buying it or already did and out there having fun with it while you looking at your rusty Lincoln log of a ship. It was then that the rationalization started to take hold. I mean, it ain't gonna cost that much if I upgrade from my Lincoln log ship. I could buy this now, and when they nerf it or something better comes out later, I'll just, just say you want it, man. A few minutes of talking yourself into it later, there you are behind the sticks going, weak. It ain't the first or the last time you put on a show of pretending to delay gratification, and I'm not judging. I'm just saying, when you see everybody else having fun with the hot new, you don't want to sit in the corner with them Lincoln logs debating on sharpening them up into a shank. Now, I would be remiss if I didn't reiterate the fact that the Star Lancer TAC was sitting right next to it at the show. The TAC is a threat in that charcoal and red fit like a spacey C-130. 2 dual-size 5-man turrets, 2 size 4 remote dockers on the bridge, size 3 missiles all over the place. The thing has rear-facing missiles, man, to make a good first impression on pursuers, then make them look like they got the chicken pox. It's got a comfortable living area to toast one after a victory, the best jump seats. You can argue if they're better than the Prowler's book. How many people fly a Prowler? Doors open right up in front of the seats so you don't lose a step getting out. Med bay with 2 beds. Solid cargo bay / hangar that can haul a NERSA or an MTC when you drop the gun with room to spare. And if that somehow ain't enough, it's got a hangar, man. When the heat's around the corner, a Fury can pop out the top like an angry hornet and start stinging the hell out of folks with you. There's nothing else they could have squeezed in that ship. You can live on that ship indefinitely. It's versatile as has every single thing you could ask for. And because of all that, it's missing what the Asgard has. Simplicity. Asgard can shoot, haul, and transport with no help. If your dream is to haul goods or vehicles and slap a black eye on anybody in your way, this is the ship. And it looks good, looking kind of like a Halo Pelican or a military space APC. Wouldn't say I'm the biggest fan of the TAC's exterior. I don't dislike it either. It's like one of those strongman competitors that be pulling trucks and lifting tires. It's kind of fat looking, but you know there's muscle buried underneath. Bonafide case of it's what's on the inside that counts. Asgard's a solo play boss, but how well does it scale with a team? The answer is not as well. You got the pilot seat covered and you can take on the gunner, and really soon here an engineer will be helpful in combat, but really the gunner can probably double as an engineer for the most part. But that's it. Beyond that, anybody else in the ship will be bored pretty quick till you land. At that point, you can get your ground ops on when you roll out the tank or ballista or whatever sitting in the back. Then everybody's having a good time. Really, that's where I personally see the value. Not the cargo hauling or combat, because there's better ships for that, but in player-created ground ops. Before, you had to bring a Hurt to carry a tank and all the vehicles you wanted to the shoot 'em up barbecue. And most likely, there were 2 or 3 Hurts sucking up all the white man's frames. Now you got the ability of a Herc in a tighter package with a lot less waiting on doors to open. Tanks aren't meta in any situation yet, but when full ground combat game loops go online, the Asgard's already built for it. I started out confused by the hype, but with a few cruises through Reddit and listening to what folks had to say, I'm not on board myself, but I do get Asgard's appeal. Your takeaway here might be this. If you're a solo player looking to wrap yourself in capability and firepower in one clean package, definitely worth a look. If you crave versatility and med support to keep you on your feet without losing your cargo space, the TAC may be the ship that you're looking for. Asgard ain't perfect, no ship is, but it nailed the fantasy of boots on the ground delivery with some teeth. We haven't heard some of your opinions though. Is it overhyped or does it deliver? If you dig these grounded dives and vibes with no fluff, then go ahead and sub up like a boss. Even partake in the merch store for some of those dog tags to rock while you rocking spaceships and making movie clips. Big shout out supreme to the executive bosses of the channel, the Huntress and Lone Wolf the Barbarian. Appreciate you keeping the lights on. Shout out to everybody supporting the channel, Patreons, YouTube members, Super Chatters, and folks visiting the Boss Supply merch store. Fly dirty citizens.